Hello, detectives. Today is the 6th of August, and that means only one thing, that my newest and shiniest and most beautiful and final murder mystery in the Murder Most Unladylike Mysteries series, Death Set Sail, is out today in the UK and Ireland. That's right, you have been so patient, the wait has been so long, but it is finally over. Death Set Sail, Daisy and Hazel's final murder mystery, is out now in the UK and Ireland. Of course, it already came out on Tuesday in Australia and New Zealand, so this week has been the global launch week for this book. As you can see, it is totally gorgeous. It has a beautiful shiny gold foil cover, it has blue sprayed edges and a beautiful blue back cover, and I think it is the perfect way to end this series. It is the pinnacle of all the books so far. This is a book that I have loved writing. I have cried over as I wrote. It took me a long time to finish it because I just didn't want the experience to be over. I didn't want to say goodbye to these characters. Daisy and Hazel have been in my head for 10 years, so deciding to let go and say goodbye was huge. And I did agonize over it, but now that the book is finished, now that it's out, I know that it was the right decision. Because of course, as I told you at the weekend, even though this is the final murder mystery in this series, I will be returning to this world in a brand new series, The Ministry of Unladylike Activity, starring 3 detectives, one of whom is Hazel's little sister May, and set in World War II, and The Ministry of Unladylike Activity comes out in 2022. So the adventures are not over. I am not done writing murder mysteries. I am not done with writing about this world, and there is plenty more to come from me. I've been very clear that I didn't want any spoilers to get out before Death Set Sail's publication day. You've all been emailing me, you've been begging me to know what happens. You really have wanted me to tell you what happens at the end of Death Set Sail, but I have held firm. I do not want anyone to be spoiled before they get to the end of the book. And that is something that I'm still very clear about. I really don't want anyone to post the ending to this book because that would spoil it for everyone else. However, because today is publication day, I've decided to change one thing about the information that I'm giving you. You will have noticed, if you've been following my website, that although I have revealed the 2nd and the 3rd chapters of Death Set Sail, I have not let you see the 1st. And there is a very good reason for that, because the 1st chapter contains the first spoiler of the book. Because it's publication day, and because if you want to, you can immediately pick up the book and read on, I've decided to finally read that chapter to you. But if you want to be completely spoiler-free, if you don't want to know anything about what happens in this book, I would suggest that you stop watching this video now. Because if you do carry on and you do listen to me read the 1st chapter to you, you will understand why I have not let anyone share this chapter before publication day. So this is your last chance. If you do not want to know what happens in the 1st chapter of Death Set Sail, turn off the video now. All right, if you're still here, that is because you are brave and you do not mind spoilers. So let's begin. Chapter 1. This is an account of the last murder mystery the Detective Society will ever solve together. My name is Hazel Wong and I am heartbroken. I used to think that nothing could ever change, not really, not with my best friend Daisy and me. The rest of the world could spin out of true and smash like a Christmas bauble on the floor, but still nothing would be able to touch us. We were Wells and Wong after all. We were the Detective Society and we always came out on top. But I see now that I got caught in the trick of thinking like Daisy. Her voice in my head and my own have become so mixed up by now that I hardly know which is which unless I pause to think about it. And I never wanted to pause, not about this. And besides, Daisy promised me, she promised, I ought to be grown up enough now to know that promises can be broken, that no one is safe, and that the myth of Daisy Wells, the girl who can walk through mortal danger without even a scratch on her cheek, is only that, a myth. I am beginning this account on the day before Christmas Eve at Daisy's home, Follingford. The last time I was here for Christmas, there were enormous fires in every hearth, a gorgeously lit tree that stretched all the way up beside the great central staircase, and plates of mince pies carried spiced and steaming from the kitchen by the Wells's maid, Hetty. But this Christmas is quite different. The house is cold and somehow still dark, no matter how many lamps and candles Chapman and Hetty light. Mrs. Doherty, the cook, has burned the mince pies, and even the dogs look miserable. My little sister May tries to feed them biscuits, but they ignore her, so she shouts at them. I think I hate English Christmas, says my other sister Rose, and I agree with her. But it isn't England I want to write about now, it's Egypt. The wide light of it, the sparks of sun off the Nile, the hum and churn of our cruise ship under my feet, and Daisy. From the moment we stepped into the cabin and saw the blood, I thought that this was just another exciting adventure, another puzzle to solve, but I see now how wrong I was. I have held off writing up this case, but now, finally, I want to go back over those last days, our last murder mystery, to be with her again. Perhaps that way I can bring Daisy back to life. And that is the first chapter. You can see why I didn't want to read it until today. It still makes me really emotional when I read it, and I'm guessing that you might feel the same way. So enjoy the rest of the book, detectives. I'm so excited that you finally get to read it. I really would love to know what you think. Please do head to my website, robin-stevens.co.uk, and find that spoiler post if you want to tell me what you thought of the book. Please don't tell any of your friends and family what happened if they want to read it themselves, and enjoy it. This really has been one of my very favourite books to write. I'm so proud of it. I have loved this series, and I find it so sad that I'm not able to celebrate this book and all of the books that came before it with you in person. But the one thing that is great about this is that we can all celebrate online, we can all be together on the internet and talk about Daisy and Hazel and talk about this series as much as we want. And I think that that is some consolation. I hope that is something to hold on to. Please do check my website calendar for where I'm going to be popping up online next. I have an Edinburgh Festival online event with Sharna Jackson, the winner of the Waterstones Prize this year for younger fiction. I'm very excited about that later this month, and then a few things in September and October as well. So do check on my calendar, robin-stevens.co.uk/calendar. And that is everything I have to tell you. So happy reading.